All right. Okay, so what we're looking at here is this is the air conditioning closet. As you can see, this is the filter here. This is the furnace. I want to show y'all some basic maintenance regarding some of this. You do want to try to clean in this area here, which in my unit may be, or this particular unit may be different than a lot of houses that have what's called an upflow design. This is where the unit sits on a platform inside the house. You have air that comes under the underside here and then up through the unit. This particular unit is maybe different than even some of these other upflow designs, in the fact that this was a at some point 30, 40 years ago, whatever, this closet was retrofitted for an upflow central air conditioning system. And they wanted to keep a full-size door. A lot of them, what you'll see is it'll be actually framed all the way out, sheetrock all the way down with a grill here on the wall, and then the door has been cut right in here so that the door closes actually over the top of this stuff. This particular situation, you can see the black mark. What they've been doing is using like an armor flex, like a pipe insulation, sliding it over this, so when the door shuts, it seals this to the door so that you're not pulling air from here, but instead out of the grill, which is in the door. But there are other situations, but this is just to give you an example of what needs to be done periodically. This part of it, you can do it, once every 6 months, once a year. You can do it as often as you want. Depends on how clean, realistically, your filter right here is going to catch the majority of everything that comes in here to keep it from getting in the unit. But it is a good idea to do this once in a while, especially if you have allergies, because that filter is only able to do so much. Now, this particular system is a Lennox, Dave Lennox Signature Collection. This particular system is the air conditioning portion is at 21 SEER. It's a great unit. I'm getting nothing for telling you anything about that, but we will go into things like SEER ratings and stuff like that. I'm going to be doing a whole series on all the air conditioning stuff. This is what I do for a living, so let me get at it and I'll kind of run you through. Basically, what you want to do is you want to make sure all this dust and debris, as much as you can, is out of here. Maybe wipe it all with a rag when you're done. Get as much kind of in here as you can, clean around the unit, and make sure everything is good. So here we go. Okay, and as you can see, it looks quite a bit better. It didn't get everything, uh, but a lot of your wood surfaces, you can take you some Lysol, uh, simple green, a lot of those things you can loosen up whatever's kind of stuck on, anything like that. Wipe it all down. Like, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. That's the purpose of the filter. But doing this helps keep all of this a little cleaner, which in theory kind of helps keep your filter cleaner, which means your filter will last a little longer. It don't have as much stuff here to be sucking up. So you can use Lysol, wood cleaners, whatever you want to clean on wood and stuff. You don't want to use that stuff on your air conditioning unit per se, unless you know what you're doing and where you're at, because you don't want to take a chance on getting it on something that you can ruin while you're cleaning. But as you can see, significantly better. And then from there, you take the cover off. You can see the arrow right here. This tells you which direction the filter gets installed based on the amount of which direction the air is moving across the unit. And so in this case, it is an upflow, which means that arrow should be pointed up because the air is moving that direction. As you can see, that filter is pretty clean. I know that anyway because they changed their filter a few weeks ago. But that way you kind of know. Now this particular filter here is a 4-inch pleated filter, short of going to electronic air cleaners. It's probably one of the best ways you can go with just a media type filter. These filters are usually good for 3 to 6 months, depending just on how bad your house, the area that you live in, how old your house is, because the age of a home usually has some effect on how much dust is in the house, because as homes age, there is more dust. Now, like in this particular situation, what we have, as I said, is this what's called Armor Flex, okay? And that's being put on right there, and then the door gets shut, okay? Now you can see this grill's a little dirty. So from there, what you can do is take your rag, you can spray that grill off, and depending on where you live, and it just takes time. It's going to take a little while. If you're going to clean every louver, as I'm doing here, just have to run it back and forth in there, get it as clean as you can. Move to the next louver. grills. So just have a little patience. Take your towel. Doesn't take that long, 5-10 minutes. You can probably have one grill looking pretty good. Another thing you can do is you can actually remove it. There's just a screw here and a screw here. You can take it to you got a couple options at that point. You can take it to use a pressure washer on it. Just be careful if you're using a pressure washer, because you can blast the paint off. You can put it in a bathtub with a bunch of warm soapy water to loosen everything up, so you don't have to do as much scrubbing. You're still going to have to probably get in there and pretty much do what I'm doing. Or you can take it off, measure it. Typically grills are measured from the edge of the grill face itself right in here to the edge of the grill face on this side. They're not the outside diameter, but you can, so when you go looking at measurements, you can do that and go get you a new grill and replace it if you want to. That's, they're not real super expensive. Just depending on what you're looking at doing with it. Or I've seen people clean them up as good as they can and then take spray paint and spray paint them. It's not as good of a finish as the factory had on them, but you can get one looking pretty daggum decent with spray paint on it. I've seen people use regular house paint on them and clean them up. And then paint them, but you can see an obvious difference between these and that row that I haven't done yet. So they are, but it does help, and so you can go through and clean all your grills, even ones in the ceiling if you want to. Be careful with ones in the ceiling, because depending on how your house was done, if it was a retrofit, if it was like this house was a retrofit, or whatever. What's called the boot, which is what the grill in the ceiling attaches to, may not be hard attached. So if you take that grill off, that boot may be floating, which could create a potential issue. So you may have to clean your grills in place, much like what I'm doing with this grill here. But if you do it in place, it's not that big of a deal. You're just going to be probably working, depending on what part of the world you live in and how your house is set up. You could be on your hands and knees a lot. You could be, because some grills are in the floor, you could be up on a little ladder or something for extended period of time. A lot of the newer houses, of course, have pretty high ceilings. This particular house has 8-foot ceilings with a lot of what's called sidewall grills, which this would be a type of sidewall grill here. This is a return grill, but the supplies on a house that has sidewalls, they're going to be kind of at the top of the wall usually. So this is basic indoor maintenance, and as I said before, you just try to clean everything up the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but getting the dust out of the little corners and cracks and crevices as much as you can. does play a pretty good sized part, as you can see. Uh, Looks a whole lot better. It's not perfect, but that's going to pick up. That's a whole lot less dust there to be picking up, is what that is. Okay, and uh, it's going to make it the air flows smoother because it's moving across the painted surface and not the rough dust that was there. Uh, Not only is it going to uh, make the air move smoother, but it's also going to give it a little more space because that dust, even if it's a paper thickness or 2 sheets of paper thickness thick, that's still a reduction in the amount of air. So that's going to increase the amount of airflow, which is going to help the house feel more comfortable. Uh, Again, change your filter. Now, this, of course, this is video 2 in my air conditioning series. The first one was kind of telling you what we're dealing with and what I am trying to do for you, and teach you a little bit about some different things. Uh, we're going to talk about the basic components. Well, you know what? I think that's good for now.